we're going to talk about the opportunity that people have who wrap their head around this information as to what's going on right now in the legal space with Bitcoin and the significance of the Satoshi Genesis wallet acquiring 27 BTC. That's $1.1 million leading up into this trial. All right, you guys, there's just it's irrefutable right now that the Satoshi wallet acquired $1.1 million in BTC as of in the last 24 to 48 hours. So that's undeniable. That happened. 27 BTC, 26.9 BTC to be exact. Now, I'm just scrolling through YouTube and Twitter, and I'm like trying to explore like what the BTC people are saying about this. And people who are just, they're promoting Bitcoin. They say, Bitcoin and crypto, or they promote crypto. And one lady here, crypto, what's the channel? So at Crypto Tips on YouTube. I'm just seeing her for the first time. I don't know anything about her. And about 200,000 subscribers. And she says that it was an accident. She believes it was an accident that somebody sent $1.1 million over to the Genesis wallet from Binance. And it was just an accident. Probably involved BlackRock of some kind, some sort of experiment. Hello? Are you not miss, you may not be aware that the biggest trial definitely in the history of Bitcoin, okay, but one of the biggest financial trials of all time is coming up in a month. So you're saying that maybe it was just an accident that somebody just accidentally sent $1.1 million to the Genesis wallet, a Genesis block address. Listen, this person's probably never going to see this video. And that's an opportunity for anyone who does right now, because let me just give you a background as to really what's happening. I mean, we talked yesterday about how the Genesis wallet can't move the keys because it's the anchor. It's the anchor for the entire, what they call crypto, Bitcoin, everything. It's the anchor for all of this new world, this new financial world. So that Genesis wallet can't move, not because it can't physically or because it's impossible. It's because in a legal sense, it can't move because it's what's securing the legal element of it not becoming a security. No one is going to move that Genesis block because it's a digital commodity. It's what secures Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin SV, as the only digital commodity known to man. That's what secures the whole network. So by someone sending or buying, 27 Bitcoin yesterday and sending it to the Genesis block, it's clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, it's involved in this trial. What's going to happen at trial with it is to be unknown. But I'll tell you that there is no accident. This didn't just happen. I don't care how rich you are. BlackRock, even if you're nobody plays around and sends $1 million by accident and just, oops, that doesn't happen. The richer and wealthier you are, the more savvy and highly intelligent and calculated you are. And so accidents on that level, they don't just happen and go to the Genesis block, especially on that amount of 26.9 Bitcoin. There's probably something to do with the numbers. Who people really study numbers. There's probably something to do with those numbers as well. $1.1 million, 1.1 million Bitcoin, Satoshi mined. So there's definitely, this is a fact that can't be ignored. And it's leading up into the trial, the significance of it coming up for the people who are wrapping their heads around this in a legal sense. I'll tell you, it looks like, the odds of this court case, if there's odds on this case in Las Vegas or Atlantic City, they just went up tremendously for the Satoshi side. And the Copa side just went down. I would say it's already been over a 51%, odds right now on the Satoshi side, of Satoshi being identified for the right side. Now, but that's definitely going up. I mean, I can't come to exactly the number, but it's definitely gone up over 51%. And just to talk a little bit more about the evidence, because there's clearly paid opposition, and Calvin and another gentleman, Diego, on Twitter were talking about who's who's paying, Arthur Van Pelt. And who is Arthur Van Pelt? I really don't even know. He blocks me, blocks everybody I've seen that talks about anything about truth. So, but clearly he's not an attorney, doesn't understand the rules of evidence. And so he's definitely a guy from, what is it? He's Dutch? I think he's Dutch. Anyways, it looks like he's a guy from Europe. Really, that's how silly I am with Europe. I really don't know the countries that well, but it looks like he's Dutch. All right, so if he's Dutch, these guys are, I'm willing to bet money that he's not just going through thousands of hours of research, okay, in analyzing the evidence in this case, and then going through and doing talks about it on YouTube with that Dr. Bitcoin channel. The amount of time he's spending on it is highly commendable, but that amount of time is he's being retained by somebody. Now, the only thing that's, harming him, or they should have really considered before they retained that guy, whoever did, La Copa side, they should have got somebody who knew about the rules of evidence, because just because these things on the internet and these pieces of paper that they're calling forgeries and fraud, even if they look like fraud, getting that into the court and to meet the rules of evidence, becoming admissible evidence, has to overcome the objections from the other side. So, Dr. Wright's attorney, Miss Field, I believe it was, and that team is going to be objecting to most of this evidence. If at trial, if they haven't already started writing their objections, if they're going to be objecting orally, because what is an expert going to do? I mean, think about it. An expert's going to come in and analyze, oh yeah, Dr. Wright forged all this stuff and he made up some bad evidence. I mean, unless whatever it becomes admissible that Dr. Wright says he's admitting to, which I would highly doubt that he's going to admit to something that is going to harm him. He's much too calculated for that. Again, this is an unknown part. I mean, there's a wild card here that Wright could all of a sudden admit and throw the whole case. I mean, that's a wild card we don't know about. I just don't believe that's in the possibilities, but it's we got to expect anything could happen. But if he doesn't admit to things, it's going to be extremely hard for them to meet the rules of evidence and getting this stuff in and qualifying it for the court to even determine that, oh, this is a forgery, it's a fraud. No matter how much Arthur Van Pelt and the Copa team think that it's just absolutely wrong and unbelievable allegations, if the 27 Bitcoin were just sent to that Genesis wallet, it looks to me like that's going to be used at trial. And if it's used at trial, that's going to be the other side of the ownership claim, because you got like 1/10 of the law in the way of those keys in signing would be met. It would be only 1/10 of the ownership claim. 9/10 are going to be for proving the identity himself, that he created Bitcoin, that he actually was the issuer. That's going to be the hard part, is the creation of the issuer. And the easy part, it looks like, from what just happened, because it seems like those are the same keys that he signed with in front of Gavin Andreessen, I believe John Matonis as well. That's the same block. So the easy part will be the possession part, the proof of possession. But that is only a fraction of proving the actual case itself. And that's what the whole people who don't understand rules of evidence have focused on. Oh, we can't meet the possession part, the 1/10. But it looks to me like that's going to be met right there. I mean, this is not a coincidence that's somebody accidentally, to these crypto influencers, crypto tips, and anybody else who's just completely missing this right here, that this trial's coming up and they think that this is just, I guess they're just ignoring it, or they don't understand law well enough to realize the impact of what's at stake. So those who do, are seeing this, they're hopefully you're getting comprehended. You're beginning to comprehend the impact of what this is about, and why I would even spend time to talk about a trial when there's lots of trials going on. There's lots of cases happening all over the world that are big, but this is affecting all of us little people, everyday average people. Okay, just people who are holding BTC or wanting to get in on something that just is hard to get and very rare and very scarce, which is the true, genuine, original Bitcoin Satoshi vision. If people haven't looked at this, the technical, read into this carefully, I would highly recommend you do so, because this is just one of those things that, it's not like that movie. I remember the movie Bitcoin. Calvin Ayre talked about it, watching it. I absolutely freaking love that movie, dude. It was so funny to watch, and the Sencha craze. I was on the Cliff High mailing list at that time, reading all those Alta reports in 2017 when that came out. And, for whatever reason, I did invest in a lot of the ICOs at that time, in that mindset at that time where it's like a, taking value mindset as opposed to adding value now today, where like, I just want to add value and give value as much as I possibly can. That time was different, but I didn't invest in the Sentra. Something, writing was on the wall, something about it. It just didn't seem right. So thank God I didn't, because it was a huge scam. And that movie was the documentary or whatever it was, a movie on Netflix called Bitcoin. And the point is that that's just the opposite of what this is all about. This case is leading into setting precedent to becoming, the genuine authority for what a true digital commodity is. And the one true, call it crypto, the one true money. It's the sovereign money, which is the original Bitcoin protocol that people can actually go to and rely on. And I think that we got to talk more about sovereign money, because there's just so many people who are scared and terrified as to what's going on. We obviously can't rely on, keeping all of our money in like a fiat currency, because it's just, it's obviously we've got tremendous inflation. So we have to be looking outside of that. And if gold and silver are not the only option, what else is there? And we have to be looking at identifying what the risks are, what the upsides are. And people just really want to have something stable that's not going to just go away tomorrow. Somebody posted a video from a guy called Dan Pena. I don't know who he is, but some rich billionaire guy talking about Bitcoin's going to go to zero when the creator comes out. I don't know if he's meditating and seeing this stuff, but this is maybe a video from like 6 months ago. It was just a short clip, and that's very likely what will happen. That's exactly what we've talked about. BTC, now again, they call it Bitcoin because this case hasn't been finalized yet. But once it's finalized, it won't be Bitcoin anymore. Okay, so that's really what's at stake. People use the word Bitcoin, they throw it around. That's what Satoshi's so upset about. Okay, the name has been thrown in the mud and trashed as some sort of an illegal investment contract. That wasn't the intent of it at all. It was designed just to be meant for microtransactions and for everyday people to use it on a massive scale, in tiny little ways, fractions of a cent, sending all over the place and becoming that's the whole purpose of it. There's more of it now that's come out. But anyways, it's just, I think people, I hope, can get a grasp for the significance of this case. And, not only the significance of the case, but now also the fact that it's more likely than not that the possession aspect, the 1/10 of the proving the case, is more likely than not to be solved by this 27 Bitcoins coming in. All right. That's 1.1 million. I mean, it's no accident. All right. It is no accident. And if you follow this close enough, just read the stuff, look into it a little bit, you'll see there's no accident. This is all leading up to the biggest case of our time. So this is Gavin Mail. I'm going to do a cool interview on Wednesday with a gentleman from Twitter that I talked about how, on this channel, I said I would have somebody come on. This will be the second guy I'm coming on Twitter that I'm going to just do a talk with and get to know him better. He's actually a music producer, and his name's Larry, produces music, some really incredible, famous artists that he's produced music for. So we're going to break all that down and then do some analysis on a case that he has. I think it's interesting. We're going to go through, and I'm also reaching out to some other guys like Brett and Raphael and some other people just in general I want to talk to, get to know better for sure. Definitely like Jack Lew. And it was awesome meeting with Daniel Kravitz. What a freaking genius that guy is, man. I mean, I really follow and respect what he has to say. So thank you, Daniel. Much love, and I will go ahead and see you guys at the top. It's going to be a great freaking week. This is Gavin Mail.